Oh, she got it.
There you go. That works.
Yay.
Since it's a brand new class, we wouldn't be able to default on whoever taught it last time to send that recording out. Never been taught before.
Awesome. I'm super excited to be a part of this. I'm not sure that I should be the person leading the charge on this one, but I guess here we go.
You absolutely will be totally fine. We'll give people a couple more minutes to get in and then we'll start our accountability.
Okay. And then I'm assuming you do all the accountability and then I come in with all the wonderfulness.
That's right.
Perfect. How was your leadership day yesterday, Mara?
It was good. It was made for a long day because traffic was not great coming home, but
Yeah.
it was really good energy. The day went by really fast. It was good to have Chris in the room,
Yeah.
his knowledge and perspectives.
Yeah, he's kind of all right to listen to every once in a while.
Centers you pretty well.
Yeah, he's really good at doing that.
More people coming in.
Perfect. Now the word that I'm going to be looking up there at that, but whatever.
All right, we'll start accountability in 1 minute. So if you don't know how many contacts you've made, start adding them up, recollecting the people.
Do I have to do accountability too?
You can if you want, but I won't make
I should tell him about that actually. So the last one I did or the one I'm doing tomorrow?
The last one.
All right. We'll see.
All right, let's get started with our accountability. Deborah, you want to get us started? I know you were working on your tech orientation today.
Yep. So last night I ordered postcards and created my list of my sphere, and I am going to handwrite postcards to all of those people. So
Awesome. Great job. Gary.
Yeah, is my mic on? Okay. I as well did postcards. I ordered some postcards for some seller leads around my area and around the area that I sold my last listing. What else did I do? Broker tour last week. Just been talking with people, every day when I'm out and about real estate or not. Sometimes I don't want to force it, but yeah, just handing out business cards, meeting with resources, allied resources, and doing scripts calls and scripts class, and just trying to build my business.
Awesome. Good job. Courtney.
I haven't made any contacts today, but the lead I'm really trying to push them to start the pre-approval process, because I'm not going to show them houses if I don't know what they can afford. So I'm trying to get them to start that.
Good. Awesome. And that's a great thing to do. And did you talk to that person?
Yeah, I did. Oh,
Then
well,
that's
it was
a
yesterday.
contact.
I guess
Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't today, though.
All right. I was like, he made a contact. Okay, good job. Michael.
Good afternoon. So today I had it's pretty busy this morning. I had to go down to the building and planning department to try to figure out some information on a property that multiple clients are interested in. So kind of knocking out a couple, birds with one stone. Connections I made, I'd say 4, actually 5 connections following up with previous clients, and then new ones. 2 added clients today, or contacts, and then I have went and saw a couple vacant houses, one yesterday, and then I have a showing today for a digital walkthrough with another client. So yeah, that's what's going on.
Awesome. Liza, do you want to do accountability today? I know I didn't put you on the spot yesterday.
Hi, we do as a team, we do at least 20 contacts a day. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Kevin?
Yeah, I went to a wintervention yesterday, and then while I was there, I was able to talk to a couple, and the guy was a contractor, and so I was able to get his email, his phone, all that good stuff, and then add it to my database.
Good. Awesome. Perfect. Well, we had a little switch up today, which has put us in very lucky hands with Noah. Poor Matt was under the weather and healing, so Noah was gracious enough to step up, and you guys are in for a very special treat. Him and his wife run an extremely successful real estate business out of Portland, and he is a hoot. So you are going to learn a ton, laugh a ton. He is going to share all his knowledge with you and be a little, oh, here's someone else joining. Be a little gracious on him since he did jump in last minute. I know you guys will help with any technology questions he has. Tell him what you expect of him.
That usually does help. I follow orders really well. So I just asked my wife. So, you know, and thank you guys for allowing me to be here. I do appreciate that. And thank you, Mara, for that. You know, I am stepping in for Matt. I like to tell people that I'm the least scripted agent that you'll ever meet. I say that I don't do scripts and don't do script practice, but in a way, we all know them. We all have the scripts in our heads. If you've been doing this, you know, for more than a couple of years, or even just getting started, you know, it's you have a script in your head and a conversation in your head that you always can go to and turn to when the conversation might stall out a little bit. So while we do practice scripts as a team up here, I tend to disappear when my team does scripts a little bit, and I kind of go off on my own and work my own stuff. So do as I say, not as I do. That's always going to be my general rule for you. Except for if it comes to taco posts, that's mine. Leave that stuff alone. So if you don't know who I am, like Mara saying, I've been at Keller Williams for 10 years. I've been fortunate to be here for 10 of my 11 years. I do run a small team with my wife, and I have an oddly weird obsession with tacos that really, honestly, it's a marketing ploy that leads to a lot of business. So if you haven't seen me on social media and you notice, or you have, every Tuesday I post something weird about tacos or fun. So little bit of a background about me. So again, filling in for Matt, I'm going to do the best that I can to kind of answer questions for you guys on working with buyers and working with sellers. You know, we closed over 750 transactions in my 10 and a half, 11 years in the real estate industry. So we do have a lot of experience with both buyers and sellers. I primarily work with a lot of sellers, but all the agents on my team work with buyers, and I walk them through the process, and I help a lot of the agents on my team kind of navigate the process of the buying process and winning with buyers and getting, you know, buyers to that point of making offers. So I guess kind of before we get started, does anyone have any questions for me that I can answer? No, perfect. I love it. Just me talking. That's always well. There should be a disclaimer on this, and later on, y'all might get the real 100% Noah, but probably not today. So, you know, going through this, and can you all see the screen? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. You know, the course today is, you know, the real estate expert. It's finding the clients, lead generating, following up, and then getting to the transaction. So, you know, the biggest thing that we can do as agents every day, and the main focus, I mean, right now, if y'all are new to the industry or been in a short amount of time with what's going on, a big focus on us is finding clients, working on our database, building our sphere finding clients to get out, show homes to, find listings for. So we have a big emphasis on the morning of showing up. And I know you guys, I've seen some of you guys on the script practice with Matt. I pop in there every once in a while, just kind of help out a little bit. But, you know, as a team, we show up every morning at 9 o'clock and we do scripts for about 25 to 30 minutes every morning. And we go over kind of hot topics. We talk a lot about buyer conversion right now, just in this market that we're in, just kind of cultivating that relationship, building a relationship, getting them, you know, hopefully from the initial kind of meet and greet, the buyer presentation into the car, getting them out, showing homes and helping them kind of navigate that process. So we are working on a lot right now with our scripts around buyers. There's a lot of amazing scripts that Keller Williams can provide. So, you know, if you don't have a good script or you're looking for something different, I'm happy to share some of the stuff that my team is working on. But, you know, there are some just really amazing scripts just to get to kind of know buyers. The biggest thing to me, you know, I always say I'm not the smartest man in the room. I don't know the most, but I do know people. The biggest thing that I can tell you guys is the easiest way for you to continue to kind of build and grow your business is finding a way to connect with the person that you're sitting across from. You know, what are they like? What are their likes? How do they like to communicate? You know, have you guys worked on the DISC assessment at all? Have you guys gotten to that point, knowing at Keller Williams, we learn a lot about personalities and people's, you know, just the styles and how they like to kind of be communicated with. You know, if you have someone that's very driven or very numbers based, you don't kind of want to hold their hand and talk to them how pretty the tile work is or the beautiful backyard. You want to get straight from the numbers and, hey, it's a good price here. Here's what I'm looking at. Here are the numbers. I think this is a great fit for what your bottom line is. You know, if you are working with a first time buyer that really does need their handheld, you don't want to just throw a bunch of numbers out at them. You really kind of be that fiduciary for them, kind of care for them and walk them through the process. So, you know, each buyer and even seller at that point, you know, is different in itself. And each, you know, client that I work with, it's a different experience every time. And that's what I love about it. You know, it's never the same. You're never going to have the same transaction with the same person. And it's always going to be something kind of new coming at you. And, you know, just by knowing the scripts, you're going to be able to navigate all those conversations. So the very first thing that I tell you to do is make sure you're showing for scripts, find an accountability partner, and just get to know the scripts. You know, learn them the way they are. I know they sound funny. Nobody likes the way they sound in scripts. I sound like a robot. I would never say that. That's great. That's awesome. I said that too. The very first person I called when I did scripts was my mom. When I first got in the industry, and she goes, "That doesn't sound like you. It sounds weird." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I got to do this." And so I learned the scripts. And then after I got to know kind of the bullet points, then I cliff note version it. And I got to know enough scripts that I could jump from script to script and wherever the conversation was going. So very first and foremost, learn the scripts, get that stuff down, get used to the boring repetitiveness of scripts, and it will lead to great things. I mean, at the end of the day, you're there to service your clients and help them get into a home. So that's definitely the biggest focus. So, man, I don't even kind of know where to go from there. Where are we at? Kind of real estate expert, you know, knowing the area. One of the things, I don't know if your offices gives them out, they should. We have the TMO report that comes out every week. So another great thing to study. You know, you may not know every area or location. I certainly don't. I know a great deal of the Portland metro area, but if I am going out to Gresham or McMinnville or somewhere that's not necessarily my home base, I can pull the TMO report out really quickly and study price points in the area. So I can walk out there and know, hey, in the price point of 400 to 450 in McMinnville, you know, there's currently like 12 homes on the market, 8 of them are pending, and they're pending at this. This is the average days on the market. So you have ways, you don't have to necessarily be the expert in that area, but you can learn it pretty quickly. And Keller Williams provides all the tools that you will need. At the end of the day, it's just, you know, buyers have a ton of resources at their fingertips right now with Zillow and Redfin and whatever other websites they may be on, but we still have all the data and we can get that. And it's, as long as you guys know the data, know the TMO reports, that's going to help tremendously as well. I also use TMO reports for listing presentations as well. So if I'm going out to an area, I use them for that as well. So, can some of you guys tell me, I know you guys were kind of running over some numbers, and I'd love to have just kind of some collaboration on your guys' part. If your guys' cameras are on, that'd be great too as well. But I'd just love to hear some of the ways you guys are lead generating currently, what's working for you, what you've seen that's worked for other people. You know, obviously the lead generation in our industry, I know you guys are kind of going through your accountabilities and making calls and committing to stuff. So I'd just love to hear a little bit of how you guys are lead generating for buyers and sellers right now, and just kind of have some conversations around that. So does anyone want to share how they're doing it?
Yeah, obviously making calls. Sphere, for me, Sphere kind of, it's a little like gray area. Obviously, we're trying to, you know, work it and see what, definitely want to help, you know, those obviously in that group. But for me, it kind of like died down a little bit, especially as the market shifts. So I've been finding more response just from making cold calls or prospecting calls of through like, you know, online sites and stuff like that. Like obviously Zillow, we're using Zillow clients, working with a few of them right now. And then just kind of cultivating past prospects from before. I'm kind of just following with them right now. I just kind of noticed though, with how the shift is going right now, a lot of people are kind of going dark. So, but yeah, I'm kind of rinse and repeat, kind of continuously making sure I'm contacting them. And if there's anything, and sometimes it's I get no response, or people that have been cold for like a month, and then, you know, I'll send another text out and they're responding to me like, hey, you know, we're kind of back in the game. We want to see what's going on. And so I kind of just find, you know, if you have a list and the people are kind of ghosting, I think just being consistent continuously, you know, having those touch points, it will eventually pay off. At least it's kind of working for me for now. So
yeah. And, you know, we don't have a huge database. I think we have about a total of 7,000 people in our database. It's not, I mean, there's some massive ones out there. We have I would say we have a middle of the road size one. We try to turn our database over once a month. So we're trying to reach out and contact everyone once a month. It's not always, hey, who do you know looking to buy or sell? We're trying to find reasons to reach out and have conversations with them. You know, if you guys aren't on Teams, you know, utilize your guys' offices. Like, you know, we just had a friend's Thanksgiving, you know, I know Jordan does a lot of stuff up here. You know, they did a carnival one time. They did some for the Humane Society. They run a lot of amazing opportunities, and you can utilize the offices events for your own kind of client events. You know, if you don't have the money or the budget to do it, or partner up with a couple other agents. You know, there's agents in our office this month that are partnering together to do a Santa Claus event. You know, it's a good thing to do it. And just because it's not your event only, doesn't mean that you can't invite people or partner up with someone until you have enough revenue to start something like that. So, you know, we are trying to reach out to everyone once a month. We have multiple different scripts. If you haven't talked to someone in a while, sometimes it gets easy not to call them, and it's harder to call them if you go 1 month, 2 months, 3 months without talking to someone. You know, you can start with an apology script. It's like, hey, Michael, I know we had a great time working with you a year ago and the market got absolutely crazy. And I just wanted to reach out to you and apologize today because I haven't stated as good as communication with you as I should have. And I would love it if I could say better communication with you moving forward. So would it be okay if I just checked in with you every month or so just to see what was going on? It doesn't necessarily have to be a real estate conversation, but I had such a blast working with you, finding that house, and your kids were amazing. And I thought the world of you. And I just love to have that opportunity to earn that trust back with you and be able to contact you and be that real estate related resource that, you know, I told you I'd be in the beginning. You can start out that script. It's a pretty easy script. It softens the conversation up. You know, and my team has kind of gone through and done that recently with people that we haven't talked to in a while, and just let them know. And, you know, we end the year, we have a pumpkin patch event, we do a pie giveaway, and then we do Santa Claus. We give our team reason to call our database once a month to set that expectation, especially moving forward. I mean, the market shifted 30-35% in some areas and dropped off. I mean, if you're waiting for the phone to ring right now, you're going to be in trouble. You got to get out, make the calls, do the circle prospecting. Garrett, I think you were saying that you were circle prospecting around one of your listings that closed. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Was
it just when it closed, or what was that about?
No, it just a sold, designed a postcard that said sold. If you're looking to sell, give me a call. That was the latest one. I did one with, I partnered up with a lender and we went in halves on an area for first time buyers. So we targeted a non-owner occupied 5 years. You know, the house has been owned for 5 years. I forgot there was one other piece of criteria, and we did about 200 houses there, and that just went out last week. So haven't seen any action from that campaign yet. But you know, I'm getting my face out there. I'm still, 6 months in, and I'm just trying to get people familiar with my mug,
Yeah.
other than
And
mug
that's-
shots.
And that's all you can do, man. I mean, and realistically, I think I heard a stat when I got into the industry that, every 16 days, people forget you're a realtor. Whether
Right.
that's still the case or not, I mean, you got to do what you can to get in front of people. With circle prospecting around it, again, this is, about working with buyers and finding with buyers at this point in time, kind of winning with people. Are you circle prospecting for listings at that point in time as well? So making those calls. Now, let me ask you this: are you only calling once, or are you calling multiple times?
I haven't called anybody yet from that list because there was like 4 numbers, and the 4
Okay.
numbers went straight to voicemail, or they were just rang and rang.
Sure.
That was for that particular list because the renters they don't have their numbers, in public record.
Yep.
But my newest campaign, which is for sellers, there's about 20 numbers that I'm gonna hit hard next week. So the postcards are going to get mailed out next week, and I figured I'll call them up and say, hey, you might have got my postcard. If not, look out for the mail. Look out in the mail for me, and this is who I am, and if there's any real estate needs you have, I'm your man, kind of thing.
Yeah. And hey, I'd love to, I'd love to be a real estate related resource for you now and in the future.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's a really good one. It softens it. I'm not a real estate agent. A lot of times, people are, and a lot of you guys should be doing open houses and making calls and reaching out to your sphere. But with that one, Gary, honestly, if you have a listing, realistically, you should be making circle prospect around it 5 different times. You got the listing, you can do hey, I'm doing a neighborhood preview. Would you like to find out about a home before it hits the market?
Oh, yeah,
Awesome,
that would
great. Here's the photos. Here's the listing. It'll be live next Thursday. We're doing an open house. And you call them before the open house. You invite them to the open house.
Yeah.
And then after that, you call and tell them how the open house went. Oh my God, we had a great turnout. A lot of people looking. If you are in a situation where you had multiple offers, you can even call and just say, hey, oh my God, we went pending over the weekend. We have multiple offers. Still people looking to purchase in your neighborhood. If you've thought about selling, now's a great time. We still have 5 other people looking for houses. And then when it closes 20 days later, you call back and just say, hey, this is Gary. I'm just calling from Keller Williams. We just closed that house around the corner from you. Man, we had such a great turnout at the open house. We had, 3 or 4 offers. There's still people looking to purchase in your neighborhood. Have you thought about taking advantage of the equity in your home right now and selling to someone potentially off market and saving you some commission? However you want to do that script. So realistically, for my team, there's a standard and expectation to make a minimum. And depending on how you're doing it, if you're using a dialer system, if you're using a triple line dialer, there's a standard to do 750 calls a week. If you're using a single line dialer or just using your phone, the hope is that you're basically making about 250 calls a week. So you break that down, that's 50 calls a day. You said you have 20 numbers to call. Is that going to be enough? And are you going to call them enough to generate business from 20 numbers?
Right.
At the end of the day, real estate's a contact sport, and you need to get in front of as many people as possible and make as many attempts and contacts. Because if you call and here's the thing, more than likely when I get circle prospecting from agents, I'm going to hear from them once and never again. Are you a neighborhood expert or a real estate expert if I only hear from you once? I mean, no is a hard word to hear, and we hear it a lot. And going into the market we're going into, you're probably going to hear it even a lot more. So you're going to have to make a lot more dials and a lot more contacts to get to that appointment, to get to a pending. And that's kind of how we look at it. We're really trying to get out there and really kind of pump our numbers up heading into the market we're heading into. And if you're new to the market, congratulations, you don't know any other market than the one we're heading into. But if you've been in this for a little bit, or you were in it 2020, it's going to shift, and it's going to be harder, and it's going to be a show up and bring your hard hat and your lunch pail. It's going to be time to work. So, there's a lot of opportunity out there and a lot of stuff left on the table because a lot of agents aren't willing to do more than 1 or 2 phone calls, And the other thing is another script that we've come up with recently to find buyers or even sellers is, when someone comes to an open house, we always ask them, hey, are you working with an agent? Most times everyone's like, oh, hey, I'm working with an agent. Great, who you're working with? I know a lot of agents in the industry. Most of the time people can't even remember their agent's name. So that one's a little bit funny to me. So I just say, hey, that's fantastic. I'm glad you got somebody out to show you houses. The market can be crazy. I'm not asking to be your number 1, but can I be your number 2 agent with the market we are heading into? I know there's a lot of amazing agents right now struggling and potentially even going to get out of the market. I'm not going anywhere. This is my chosen career. I'm going to be here forever. And so on the whim that your agent does get out of the market or basically maybe moves, I would love to be, your second choice. Can I be that second choice for you? So there's scripts around it. Just because they have an agent doesn't mean they won't come back to you. More than likely that agent that they're working with that they don't know their name of probably is just sending them a drip every once in a while, or more than likely they're sending homes to them saying, hey, I found this home, and I asked them that, oh, great. How are you guys searching for homes? Is the agent sending to them or is your agent prospecting for homes for you? So that's a big thing for us. We get out and we prospect for homes for our buyers, and we do that for our sellers too. So, we're really working the phones and getting out there. I mean, at the end of the day, right now, it's a contact sport. The more you're making, the better off you're going to be. So anyone else doing something differently with lead generation or they have questions about it? Deborah, you look like you want to throw a question my way. By the way, I pick on people a lot too, so I love it.
Well, I just came from another brokerage where I was using Opcity. And so I was getting, 15 or 20 call leads a day. And so when I switched over to here, I'm not using Opcity anymore. And so I'm kind of down to starting from square one. So right now I'm kind of not taking the cheater's way out and having to start with making the phone calls. So instead of them coming to me. So
yeah. And right now, like I said, I mean, the phone, I've been in this for 11 years. My phone's not ringing off the hook anymore. So I've gone from, basically sitting back and having everything come to me. So now we're going out and doing it. I was talking about making the calls. Tomorrow, I'm actually committing to do a 1,000 dial day. So I'm going to make 1,000 calls tomorrow.
how do you do that?
So there's systems out there that you can sign up for and be a part of. One of them is called Mojo. There's Cole Realty Resource, and I think there's Vulcan and or RedX, but you can sign up through it, and it costs a little bit of money to be a part of it. And again, this is something, if you guys have the revenue to do this, you can pick up the phone and call your sphere. You can go door knocking. You can go to a Starbucks and sit there and just say, hey, I'm a realtor, you want to talk. But if you have some revenue, the Mojo dialer system, I literally can go and, like, if I have a listing, I can put a pin in the listing and draw a circle around it, and it'll pull up all of the numbers in that particular neighborhood that are on the, and even the ones on the do not call list, but on the do not call list, and then literally throw them into a dialer system, and I can call 3 numbers at once. And it'll be up on my screen. It'll say I call Bill, Ted, and Sally. And whoever answers, it connects me to that person that answers. People who don't answer, I can leave a voicemail for them. Or if I go to voicemail, I can leave a voicemail for them. Like, hey, Gary, I just want to reach out and let you know, I just listed this home and sold it on Celebrity Street. We ended up with 5 offers over asking. And I just want to let you know, if you thought about selling, if you know anyone looking to sell in the area, we still have people looking to buy homes in there. Give me a call back if you get a chance. And I'll leave a message. And then sometimes if 2 lines pick up at the same time, this is where it gets tricky. If 2 lines pick up at the same time, you can leave another voicemail. It'll take you to one, and the other one I go, hello? Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm getting an echo. Let me call you right back. And it'll hang up on that person and call them back because it knows I'm on the line with somebody else. And the moment it hangs up with the person I'm talking to, it'll dial that person back. I'm like, oh my God, Deborah, I'm so sorry. Did you hear that echo? And she's like, no, I didn't hear it. Well, that's crazy. It's on my end. So I do apologize for that, but hey, why have you? This is for the reason for the call. And it'll take me about 8.5, 9 hours tomorrow to go through 1,000 dials. So, but I've committed to myself and to my team to doing 1,000 dials each month for 2023. And I did one this month in November, and I probably ended up with 3 buyers that I passed off to my team that were setting appointments that we're going to work towards getting pre-approved, getting out. I have 3 people that I'm following up with in a specific neighborhood for potential listings. So, I mean, if you're into cold calling, there's amazing opportunities out there. You can do it without paying for it, you know, but it helps to have a triple line dialer sometimes to go through it. You know, the other thing I did when I got in the industry, I reached out to everyone I knew through social media. You know, since you just moved to Keller Williams, are you on social media, Deborah?
Yeah, I have a business page set up and I'm all set up now with Keller Williams, but I think I only have like 42 followers because I'm a new agent. I mean, I've only been doing this for about 4 months.
Cool. How many people are your friends? How many friends are you with on Facebook?
Probably about 150. However, I prior to this, I was a real estate photographer for the last 5 years. And so
Gotcha.
I have a lot of contacts. I just need to get them down on paper so that I can get them into my database and start making those calls. Also, I didn't really know that there was a script practice or anything like that. So I'm interested in that. So
Okay, gotcha. And Jordan or Mark can set you up with the email, but they do a Monday through Thursday from 8:20 to 9 o'clock.
Tuesday through Friday.
Tuesday to Friday. Mine's Monday to Thursday, so completely different. That's my team. I apologize. Tuesday to Friday, and occasionally I pop in there and really shake things up. So it gets really interesting when I pop in there, and I know it's not being recorded.
It definitely makes it interesting when you get on there.
And yeah, Gary's caught me on there before.
Freeform Friday.
Yeah, Matt likes to call it Freeform Friday. I can't pop in on Fridays anymore, unfortunately. So I mix it up, and it's either Tuesday or Thursday. But every once in a while, probably once a month, I grace Matt with my presence and disrupt everything. So it's a fun thing, though. It's a great way to do it, though. Honestly, Deborah, if you're not on it, you can always find someone in your office to do it with. Find an accountability partner. Find someone in the Ignite class that's willing to do it. You can do it over Zoom. You know, you can practice all that stuff over Zoom, over the phone, in person. Find somebody to do it with. There's somebody out there that needs an accountability partner that wants help. You know, I mean, reach out to
where do you
someone in your
find
office.
those scripts?
The Keller Williams University has the scripts. You know, and if, like I said, Matt probably has a handful of them that he can email it to you, and or Mara or the TL at your office should have a link to something like that. But I'm sure somebody can send you a link to where the scripts are and you can kind of download them.
Right.
Honestly, a lot of it ours right now is kind of working with buyers, objection handling and trying to find sellers. So we have a different focus, I think, than some of the newer agents right now. But at the same time, a lot of it is just kind of finding those buyers. You know, you say you have 42 people on your professional page. That's awesome. I couldn't tell you how many people on my professional page. I don't post stuff there. I'm fortunate enough that my wife is my director of ops. She posts stuff there. But if we're going to get business, it's going to be from my personal page. It's going to be from me reaching out individually, direct messaging people. You have an amazing opportunity right now just to reach out to everyone to say, hey, I just want to reach out to everyone and let them know I'm super excited. I just made the move over to Keller Williams. I just want to let you know you have the same level. You can expect the same level of customer service from me and probably a little bit more moving forward. But I'd love to be a real estate related resource in 2023 and beyond. So you can start that and throw a post out. And then what you should do is go through and individually message everyone that same exact message. So there's reasons. And honestly, if you guys are looking for reasons to contact people, I mean, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I don't do that. I'm too old for that. So I will never do that. Mara's great at it. Follow her. She's amazing. She does great videos. I will never do a TikTok video. All I do is post inappropriate taco memes and talk about Oregon Ducks football. So that's kind of my stick, but I'm friends with a lot of people and I get on and talk to people. I am not afraid to strike up a conversation. If I hear somebody talking about real estate at dinner, my ears perk up and I look over the table. My wife usually shakes her head at me because she knows I'm going to stand up and walk over there. So I'm not a secret agent. I'm not hiding from anything. You got to get out there now more than ever. It's a contact sport. Talk to people, get in front of people, ask your family, your friends. I mean, at the end of the year, thank everyone for your support this year. If you've only been in a year, 2 years, 6 months, just reach out. Just, hey, I want to reach out. Thank everyone for your support this year. If you know anyone that looking to purchase in 2023, please think of me. There's an amazing script. It's called the I Promise script that's working with buyers. Essentially, it's a script that leads to asking for more business and referrals. And it's a gentleman named Mike Hicks in Idaho Falls or Boise, somewhere like that. But Mike Hicks, he's a KW agent, and it's called the Promise script. It's an amazing script. Look it up. It's on YouTube. Fantastic script for getting referrals from the clients you're working with. You know, just look at different reasons that you got to be asking for business from the people you're working with too. You know, just because, I mean, that's the thing. Think about it. Every time that, you know, you're working with a client, more than likely they just came from Thanksgiving or Christmas. I'm like, oh my gosh, Michael, what are you up to right now? Me and my family, we're looking for a house right now. It's crazy. And, you know, oh my God, how's that going? They're going to talk about it. Hey, Michael, when you are at Thanksgiving and you're talking about it, if someone brings it up and you know they're talking about buying or selling a house or looking at investing, can you please reach out to me and let me know? I'd love to reach out to them and offer my services as well. I'd love to offer the same high level of customer service I'm giving you to your friends and family as well. So please think of me. So,
What was his name?
huh?
What was the name of that?
Mike Hicks.
Hicks, okay.
It's in the chat.
Okay.
I didn't put it there, but it's in there. So, man, I've gotten so far off script. Today's agenda is amazing. This is what happens, freeform Noah, so I apologize. But honestly, I mean, these Ignite classes are amazing. I used to come to these all the time. I used to, you know, when they were in person, I'd sit in the back of the class and help drive the conversations and keep stuff going. And, you know, there's just a lot of times, sometimes people don't know what to say or don't know what to ask. At the end of the day, it's just about having conversations with people and getting in front of them and talking to them about experience and, you know, providing, you know, that experiential service to your clients. You know, make sure that they're getting out and having a great, you know, time buying and selling a house. So I don't even know where we're at 13. We have like 80 pages to go. So there's no way we're gonna get through this all. So I love Freeform Friday and Freeform Ignite classes. So we'll just kind of keep pushing along. So the 3 levels of service: purpose, value proposition, and fiduciary. Any questions around that? No? Should we move on? Yep. No? You guys got no questions around that? Gary, you look like you're warming something up. Shoot a free throw. What are you doing?
Just itching.
Just itching? Itching for a deal?
Yeah, itching for a deal.
All right. Okay. Gotcha. All the people with their cameras off, does anyone have any questions, comments?
Can you explain a little bit about each one of those? Probably you already did, but I don't understand fully that section. Do you mind?
The 3 levels
The
of
purpose,
purpose
value
or the 3 levels of
proposition,
service?
Yes. Uh-huh.
You know, obviously the purpose is, you know, help, you know, are they buying or selling, finding that motivation, finding, you know, how you can help them navigate the process. How would you explain purpose?
You need to be purposeful about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just being purposeful about what you're doing and reaching out to the people, the calls that you're making, asking the right questions, asking people for the business, asking people for the referral, you know, just being purposeful about your business. At the end of the day, a lot of people are afraid to ask for business, you know, and it's just, if that's you, and that's great. You want people to hand you leads and leads to come to you. That's great. I mean, you might be able to find a team to help you with that, but you got to be purposeful in this industry and making sure, yeah, with your intent and, you know, letting people know, hey, I'm here to help you out. And I would love to be your realtor of choice moving forward. So, and letting me know and trying to establish that relationship with people, not, you know, and trying to just take control of the situation, you know, hey, that's great. I'll call you back. Thanks. I got your number. Hey, you know, what I've learned in the past before, sometimes when people have said that, they just don't get back in touch with me. I'd love it if I can get your contact information as well. And that way I can just send you some homes that we've been looking at today and just send you a follow-up email. I know you may not be ready right now, but would it be okay if I stayed in touch with you at least once a month and just sent you some information? And when you are ready, you'll know that I have stayed in touch with you and given you the value and shown you that I am here to help you. And hopefully at that point in time, they reach out to you. But again, people forget, everyone knows a realtor. They have a friend, a cousin, a mother, an uncle, their dog walker's a realtor. Somebody, somewhere, some way, shape, or form knows somebody else in their life that's a realtor. It's who's there providing them value and going to be there when the phone rings and they need help. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the value proposition is, you know, what you do for them as a realtor, you know, how you're going to show up for them. You know, you have to come up with your own value proposition. You know, for me, I'm fortunate that I can run a team. You know, my value proposition is that, hey, you're not only just hiring myself, but you're hiring 5 other agents to help you get out and look at homes. And if you guys don't have a team, that's perfectly fine. I built this up as a solo agent and I went up against teams all the time. And here's what I said. I'm like, hey, Michael, I understand that you're working with Gary. He's got an amazing team, but understand that probably when you call, you're probably not going to talk to Gary. I mean, he's probably not going to be there. You're probably going to end up passed off on to Deborah, and if Deborah's not available, Courtney might show up. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to be working with 3 people who really don't know you and know your family and know that your daughter just made the basketball team this year. Congratulations to that. Again, that's awesome. So, you know, it's great that they say that they can be there for you at all hours, but are they truly when they're passing you off from one person to the next? Now, if my team did that, I'd kick their ass, but it is what it is. You don't have to bury anyone or throw anyone under the bus, but you can just talk about reality and how that would look. For me, my scenario is like, look, you know, when Michael's in, you know, dealing with a low appraisal in McMinnville, my team will be available to show you houses. I mean, there's different ways to do it. I'm not trying to say anything bad about anyone, but you can show a value proposition while having integrity throughout this industry. And I run into enough people and work with enough people that I want to have good relationships, but I know a lot about agents and how they run their business. And again, that's why being that second agent, a value proposition of like, hey, you may not need me now, but I will be here. I'm available. This is my chosen career. I'm not a part-time agent. This is what I do essentially 7 days a week. You know, this is my chosen career and this is what I've chosen to do. And I show up every day. And not only am I going to work hard for you, but I'm going to prospect for you. I'm going to get out and look for homes that are off market. You got to figure out what your proper value proposition is. You have to know how far and how hard you're willing to work for that person. And then you have to be able to explain that to them. So to me, that's, you know, everyone's value proposition is going to be different, but they all should have similar traits. So did that answer your question on those two, Nora? I'm going to go with yes. So, all right.
No, that's all good. Thank you.
Okay, gotcha. So, functionary versus fiduciary. Just kind of jumped right past that, didn't it? So, again, it's just functionary. You're going to show up. You're going to help them write the offer. You're going to get them through the contract, and you're probably going to kind of move on. A fiduciary to me is more like someone that's I'm going to be in your life forever. This isn't just a one-time thing. It isn't just the transaction's going to close. I'm going to move on. I'm going to help you fight through the repairs. I'm going to help you find the right people at the right time to get you through this process from start to finish. I'm going to be here for you all the time. So a fiduciary to me is almost kind of a guide through the process and helping you through the process and being there. And that also kind of goes back to your value proposition as well, just really helping the people out and making sure that they understand the process. You're not just writing a contract. I don't know how many times I've written a contract and somebody has just blind signed it. I sent a contract out and it's been signed like in 30 seconds. I'm like, obviously they did not read that. I'm going to give you a call really quick before I send this off to the selling agent, just to make sure you understood everything that went on there. And honestly, to me, that's more the fiduciary side. I'm happy you signed the contract and you trust me. That's the functionary side of it. But the fiduciary is, I realize that you just signed a legal 11-page document in 30 seconds. I'm going to pick up the phone and make sure you understood everything you absolutely just signed. And then if you say, yeah, I've read it, or we've been through it, my process is we go through a lot of that in our buyer consult anyways. So my process is they should know that stuff anyways. So that's also part of the fiduciary, you know, and if you guys don't have a buyer presentation and you aren't meeting with people beforehand, you know, like I said, the Keller Williams University or the Keller Williams, they should have a toolkit where they have a buyer presentation that you can literally go in and rip off and duplicate and make your own. Change it a little bit, but at the end of the day, there's the tools available for you to be that fiduciary for your clients, to show them you know what you're doing, to walk them through the process. We meet with all of our buyers for at least an hour before we get out and show them homes. During the accountability part at the beginning, I heard somebody, and I apologize, I missed who it was, but they said, I'm still working on getting a buyer pre-approved and I won't show them a house unless they're pre-approved. Who is that? Nobody? Someone said it. It's a great thing. And I am in the boat that I will give someone one free showing just because I want to establish that relationship and I want to establish that connection. But, you know, after that, I want to sit down with them and meet with them and talk to them about the process, what it looks like from, you know, finding a lender and then basically getting out, showing homes and going through, making an offer, going through the inspection process. So to me, that's the fiduciary side of it. You know, functionary, anyone could write a contract, anyone can send something out, but, you know, really kind of digging deep with people and making sure they understand it. That to me is the fiduciary side. So do any of you guys have any questions about that? Sandy, I know you got one. Your camera's on, I'm picking on you.
I know, I should have left my camera off. No questions. Thanks.
Sure. Okay. Gotcha. All right. So, you know, on the next page here, we kind of moved right into dual agency when an agent represents both the buyer and seller. That can be a very gray line for people. A lot of people aren't willing to do dual agencies. I'm perfectly fine with doing it. I feel like I can be a fiduciary to both sides. But again, I also have a team where I can pass off half the transaction. I still know what's going on all sides. I think being a dual agent, it just depends on the individual. Some people like doing it, some people don't. I know there's some pretty high producing agents in our office who will absolutely not do dual agency and will call me and ask me if I'll handle a buyer side for a 25% referral. So, you know, find those people in your office. You know, if you guys are looking for that business, it's another way to find business for yourselves. Make friends with all the agents. It's one of the things that, you know, I've done in my career. I'm always walking around talking to people. You can ask Jordan. I'm always moving around the office talking to people. And I have friends all throughout this office that I know the agents that don't like dual agency. And I know that I can call. Yeah.
How do you set your own boundaries to do that, to do the dual agency? How do you set those for yourself? Like, how far can you go in both sizes without affecting either or, but to provide a very amazing customer service to both of them?
And it really all depends on if it's my listing. You know, I have the conversation up front with the buyer and I just say, hey, I'm happy to represent you. I'm happy to do this. If we're coming in and you're writing on my listing, you know, these are the terms, these are the negotiations. I try to set a lot of the terms and negotiations up front so we minimize it. But, you know, I also have the conversation say, look, we're going to go through this. I'll do what I can. At the same time, I know exactly what my client's going to accept. And I know if we can kind of push it. I try to find a happy medium for both. There are some sellers that don't want dual agencies, and that's fine. And they don't want my team to represent the other side. So I will find an agent in the office that I know that will work the other side and for a 25% referral. Honestly, I think you have to have a pretty strong moral compass to do a dual agency. It is hard knowing all aspects, the financials of both people, you know, so it is a very, very gray line to walk. I probably do 3 to 4 of them a year and just fine. You know, I have the conversation up front, you know, I have all parties sign an addendum, you know, the dual agency addendum, letting them know that, hey, I am representing both sides. There is that on the transaction form, you can just check the box, Noah is representing both sides. I'll also make them sign an additional addendum, understanding that, hey, Noah is representing both sides when we get into this. And we do have a lot of open conversations, and that's how I tell them I'm going to work. I just say, hey, we have a lot of open conversations, about the process. I will fight as hard for you as possible to get the seller to do the repairs when the repairs are necessary. And on the flip side, I talk to the sellers and say, hey, I don't think these repairs are necessary. And at the end of the day, if you decide not to do it, I'm going to be here to back you on that. But just know that the buyer can walk, and I'll explain all sides to them. I give them their options, but it is a tough thing to do. So, but if you're willing to do it, it's a great way to get two sides to a deal. So.
Okay. In your experience, what are the most complicated things or the topics or items that I should be looking for, like to not just step on anybody's toes?
In a dual agency?
Yes.
Is like, if it's your listing and a buyer comes in, was that buyer working with an agent in the past? And if they are working with an agent, did they sign a buyer broker agreement? So did they sign something then tying them to that buyer's agent? So that's one thing you have to ask. It's like, hey, I know you came through and during the open house, you mentioned that you were previously working with an agent. I have to ask you, did you sign an agreement to work with that person? Most of the time, like, I didn't sign anything, or, well, I signed something, but I don't know what it is. Again, going back to hey, most people blindly sign a lot of things. So it's just kind of one of those things you just got to be careful with. That to me is the biggest landmine, is basically working with a buyer that's under contract for somebody else.
This dual agents, I thought it was a good tactic for when I was signing the contract for the listing, to write there that if I was to find a buyer for this listing, I'll drop my commission by 1%. And the clients were like, oh wow, you would do that? And I'm like, oh, of course, if I find a buyer for this place, of course I'll take, and they just thought that was really super cool, that I'd be willing to take 1% less for finding the buyer.
Yeah, that's cool. And so, how I counteract that, I just like, hey, Gary, I appreciate you having me out today at your house. I'd love to move forward working with you. And I understand that there are some other agents that have offered to do that. I do not do that. To be perfectly honest, the fact that someone would offer that up right away just tells me that when it comes to giving away their own money, they're not too worried about it. What do you think they're going to do when it comes to negotiating on your behalf? So I'm very careful with stuff like that. And basically, if you ask me for a reduction in commission, I have a pretty simple answer: no. And that's because I know my value proposition. So it's something that, yes, and it does work, and a lot of people will do it, and you'll see that on the back and something like that. So we'll take a discount listing, and that's great. And honestly, man, do it all the time. If you can get two sides to it, because if that seller's happy, they're going to work with you to potentially buy or sell again later. And if that buyer's happy, when they turn around and sell that house, they're going to use you again. So absolutely do that if you can get it. But just know that for every time you do that, there's a guy like me sitting on the other side talking to them about how you discounting your commission, what are they going to do when it comes to your money. So just know, and again, that's just me being me and kind of being honest with you, man. It's an amazing opportunity for you to get two transactions out of one deal. Do it.
Yeah.
So.
And then my current clients, they do not want any part of me being dual agency. They're like, nope, we've been screwed in the past. Nope. I don't want, I'm like, okay, no problem.
Yes. And I mean, this industry has been compared to used car salesmen before. So you got to be careful, and people have been beat up. People are tired of it. And that's, again, being that fiduciary, having a strong moral compass, and walking that gray line, it's tough. I don't do a lot of them, but I do them occasionally. Sometimes I will pass it off to a buyer's agent, so I am kind of hands-free of it. I'm still getting both commission, but I'm hands-free of it, and I'm still manipulating the deal. So this is being recorded, so I am not doing that. All right, so we talked a little bit about dual agency, so I can get this next one. Set expectations. So for us, part of the setting expectations is in our buyer console. we talk to them about what it would look like, you know, and for this particular photo, you know, it has on here and setting expectations. When we have buyers that go to open houses, it's okay. We can't always be there for them. Just say, hey, I understand that. When you go, here's a stack of my cards, just let them know. And oh, hey, by the way, if you end up at a new construction, because you just drove through and you saw it, just let them know you're working with me and hand them my card. More than likely, they'll know who I am. Because if you end up going, if your buyer ends up going to a new construction house and they didn't mention you that first time and they write an offer, most of the contractors and builders will cut you out of a deal. So you got to have those conversations. You got to set that expectation up with people. You know, during your buyer consult, hey, I'm your fiduciary. And the one great thing about it is I'm going to go to bat for you. That new agent that's sitting there at that new build, they're there for a reason. They're being paid by the seller and the builder to make sure that they get people under contract. They're not always there to basically have your best interest in mind. While they will help you and they will walk you through the transaction, they're not going to be a true fiduciary for you like I can. So, and plus it costs you nothing to work with me. So setting those expectations up with clients, that way, you know, if they do go to open houses without you, again, if you're not setting that expectation up and they're walking in one of my open houses, I'm happy to be the second agent, because I know at the end of the day, one time you might be busy on a weekend, they might call me and say, hey, second agent, I want to write an offer. Great. Just set those expectations, make sure you're standing in front of your clients. And Michael, that's why I call people once a month, man. You just stand in front of them. It doesn't matter if they're not buying or selling or doing anything. They just need to hear from me, and your database does too. So that's the biggest thing with winning with your clients, honestly, is communication. I mean, you have friends and people who are always going to come back to you, but there's going to be the friend of a friend that heard from you once and you just expect them to show up again. You got to have that communication. You got to show them your value proposition, why they need to use you, what you can do for them. And if you're not doing that and setting that standard expectation that, hey, I know you're 6 months out, but I'm just going to stay in contact with you. Is that cool? So send them something, text, call, email. It doesn't have to be a call every month, but get in front of them one way or another. So it is, again, about just staying in front of people, and that you have multiple different ways. Send them a message on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. It's hard to ignore that little box up in the corner with Michael's face on it when he's just staring at me. It's hard to swipe it down and just go, well, I ignore that conversation. He still pops up in my messages. So just reach out to people. That's what you got to continue doing. So as far as me, I let people know that up front when we do buyer consults, you know, even on the selling side, I let people know, hey, even if we don't have any offers, I'm going to call and let you know, hey, we don't have any offers. We had 5 showings over the weekend. Here's the feedback. We don't have any offers. You know, at the end of the day, you know, an offensive call, if you're calling somebody once a week with a seller or a buyer all the time, it's going to take you 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because you're going to have some pleasantries. But if you haven't talked to somebody in months, in weeks for a seller, a defensive call is going to take you 30 minutes and it's going to be awful and it's going to be painful and you're going to be sweating. And if you need to call and get a price reduction, it's going to be tough. So stand in front of people. It's key. So review the transaction process. This looks fun and boring. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to focus on this amazing chart about? Does everyone understand it?
Looks about right.
About right? There's nothing like crazy in there?
No.
Okay. All right. I mean, this is about you guys' time and your wants. I'm here to kind of walk you and navigate you through this. Again, it's a little off script, but I'm happy to help you out. And we do have another mega agent who just walked in the room to kind of say hi. If Dar Rogers is back there, she could maybe come in and teach the rest of this class if she wanted to. Oh, you're good? I know. Yeah. That's how rare it is that I actually don't do it. This is probably like the 4th class in 10 years I've taught. So, I mean, if you guys don't have any questions, you know, obviously, you know, partnering with an agent, you know, key, you want to be that agent, getting them pre-approved. I always have multiple lenders that I send people to. I I don't want, honestly, between me, you and the wall and the recording, I don't want somebody using their lender that they came to that I don't know. I don't know how they work. They don't know how I communicate. I don't know if they're going to show up. I don't know what information they're feeding them. I'd love for people to work with my preferred lenders. I have multiple lenders because I know that not every one of my lenders is going to be a good fit. Jora may not be a good fit for Sandy. And Gary may not be a good fit with Christy. But if I have multiple people to send them to, and I tell them that, say, hey, I have multiple people that I've worked with in the past, clients that I've worked with in the past, highly recommended agents that I've worked with in the past, and they may not be a great fit for you. But I'm going to send you a couple. At the end of the day, pick and choose the person you're going to want to work with. But at the same time, too, when picking a lender, it is always a good idea to let that person know you're talking to multiple people, because then you'll get the best deal for sure. So have those conversations. So again, you know, and then sitting down, all this should be done, this stuff early in this little timeline should be done in your buyer presentation. You know, set clear search criteria. What are you looking for? What price point? Hey, you just got Sandy, you just got pre-approved with Jora at 500,000. That's amazing. Congratulations. Are you comfortable at 500,000, or would you like to spend 400,000? Just because someone's pre-approved up to 500,000 doesn't mean they want to spend that. So that's a conversation I always have too. What are you comfortable spending? Let's figure that out first. So have that conversation, talk to them about the pre-approval, how much they want to spend, and then get them out talking about homes. You know, in that first conversation, hey, this is a dream home. This is the white picket fence, you know, the dog running in the yard, everything that you want. Let's start there. And if we can't find that, then we'll maybe kind of knock some things out. But give me your dream home. Let's start with that. So find everything that they want in a home. Sometimes they may not know that something's important until they get out there and see the house and notice it's not there. Don't notice it's there, but find out what they want. You know, they may give you an impossible search criteria, and you pull it up in front of them and say, hey, here's everything you wanted in your price point, and there's 2 houses. So either you need to be very patient, or we need to kind of open up the search criteria a little bit more. So it's just about going through that process with people. So, you know, getting out, finding them homes. You know, the easiest thing is to set them up on a listing alert. You know, you guys have Command, use Command. Let Command do all the heavy lifting for you. You pay for it for a reason. It's not much, $30 a month. It pays for your technology fee, but Command will do all the heavy lifting for you. They will make sure that you stay in front of that buyer and they know that they're getting homes from Sandy today. So just use it. Make sure every buyer that you've ever spoke with or worked with is on a listing alert. If they're not, go back and put everyone on one. They need to be. And then from there, I also go through and I tell people, say, hey, it'll be a general broad overview. I'm also going to go through and look at this list each day. And as they come out, I'll sift through the ones that may not be the perfect fit, or on the backside in the private remarks section of it, I know that they're not going to give you closing costs, or that the house has mold in it. So we might want to avoid that one. So, and I'll send you a list of the ones that I think might be the best fit for you too. And then we can sit down and talk about those. You know, get in front of your clients. Don't make them pick the houses. Don't make them do all the work. That's, again, while they'll choose potentially somebody else, is they want somebody to help them, to walk them through the process. They want that fiduciary, and you have to be that person. So, you know, once you find a home, get out making an offer. You know, the very first thing I do is I call the agent up. I call the listing agent up. Hey, do you guys have any offers on the house? No, great. What's important to your seller? Price, awesome. You know what it is. The house is listed at 425,000 and price is all that's interested to the seller, and it's been on the market for 10 days. You better come in close to 425. But if they're just like, oh my gosh, we want a family to buy it and we're moving out of state, and you know, we could, you know, they need to find a house to replace it. And it's like, great. Do they need a rent back? Do they need possession after closing? You know, ask some questions. Talk to the agent. Agents like to talk. I mean, I don't even know what time it is. It's 2 o'clock and I've been talking an hour straight and have had a little interaction. I can talk all day. You ask me a couple questions and I can go and go and go. And eventually I'll probably give away the farm. I'll slip up and say something that you can use to your advantage. Ask questions, you know, make sure that you are doing that. And once you get all that information from the agent, and make sure you find out, hey, do you have an offer deadline? I know we're in a little bit of a shifting market, but is there something important to your seller that we review on Sunday at 5 o'clock instead of, you know, Friday at 9 a.m. in the morning. Is that going to piss the seller off? You know, try to establish that relationship and a good connection and a good rapport with the agent. That goes a long way. Working with your co-ops on the other side, I don't know how many times that I haven't gotten a call or an email and all of a sudden I have an offer in my email box, which is great. I'm glad I got an offer. But if you didn't call me to talk to me, have a conversation around it, and it's just there, and I have multiple other offers of agents who have called and talked to me, I might choose them because I've had a conversation. I know who I'm talking to on the other side. So pick up the phone, make sure you're doing, you know, having those conversations. And having those conversations will help you with your negotiations and the terms that you're going to set forth. At the end of the day, you're there to do what your client wants. You know, you can guide them and put them in the best position to write the best offer, but they may not want to do it. At the end of the day, they may want to write for $375 and ask for $20,000 in closing costs and, you know, ask for the puppy. That may not get it done, but at the end of the day, you're there to kind of help guide them. Hey, I'm happy to put this together. We may not get a counter from this, or hey, we may get a counter back. If you are willing to do that, just have those conversations, set expectations up front. So that's the biggest things when it comes to negotiations. And then under contract, make sure you're staying in contact with them every step of the way. It's scary and exciting, and 30 days goes by wicked fast, and things come up all the time. You need to be in constant communication with them, talking to them every day about the next steps. You know, we send out an email every week about, hey, here's where we're at, here's the price, here are the terms, here's what we agreed to, here's the closing date, here's the important dates. We give them a checklist of what the contract is. We give them kind of the Cliff Notes version of it, but we send it to them, and we send them out a weekly update. And then we call a day later, hey, just want to make sure you saw that. Again, at the end of the day, it's about communication and staying in front of them. Same thing with sellers. You know, once you're in a contract, it's about staying in front of them. So vendor coordination, you know, if you go through and you're under contract and, you know, you've gone through an inspection, you know, you want to make sure you have vendors available to you to get out and help you with, you know, a furnace or a crawl space. You know, go through the phone book, pick it up, talk to people, or talk to agents in your office, find vendors, a roofer, a siding contractor, a mold remediation specialist. We're in Oregon, there's mold in every single house. If you don't think there's mold in your house, there's probably mold in your house. So just find contractors for everything you can. It's good to have those relationships as well, because when it comes time to negotiate on repairs, if you can basically get somebody out there to help you with a quote or something, it's going to make the transaction go a lot smoother. So appraisals, 6-7 months ago, I'd say we have to worry about appraisals with people writing 10 to 15% over. There's less of a concern now. We were in a little bit of a mastermind today talking about this going into a shifting market. I think the concern now would be with the shifting market, and the market may be heading towards a little bit of a downturn and a pullback. There may be a little bit of concern with some of the appraisals. So, you know, it is up to you guys to have that conversation with your clients going into an offer. Hey, I know this was listed at $425. I think it's a good price. We end up writing at like $430. We might be a touch over. So if something does come up in the appraisal, we have a couple options. We can renegotiate with the seller and get back down to $425, or they can split the cost with us, or they can say no, we might have to come up with the additional money. Are you prepared to do something like that? So every step of the way, you have to have that conversation and be preparing your clients for that. Because again, at the end of the day, that's where the true fiduciary is. They're there every step of the way, and they have an answer for everything that comes up. You may not have it right away, but definitely find a resource or someone to help you get to that. So pre-closing preparation, obviously, you know, make sure they have all their docs in, call the lender, see if there's anything that they're missing. Sometimes your clients get busy, forget to send docs over. Just if there's anything you can do to help, it's not your job. It's not your job. What I've just told my team this year is we're going into a market where it's not my job is not a thing anymore. If you can do something to help, if you can reach out to the lender and offer assistance, yeah, you're not a mortgage broker, you're not an LO, you're not an underwriter, but if there's something you can do that maybe is missing from the transaction and they can't get a hold of your client and you can get out in front of it, do it. Check in with people. So, and then obviously closing, with COVID, we weren't allowed to go to a lot of closings, but if you can go to closing, it's important. It's one of the last times they're going to see you before they get the keys to the home, and you might disappear and not talk to them again for 6-7 months. But again, even after they close, you should be in touch with them once every month. How's the house? Is that ghost still there in the attic? Whatever's going on, you know, how's the neighborhood? How the kids like it? Gary, how's your jump shot? I saw the guy with the basketball hoop. How you doing? Just checking with people. So, and then again, like I said, it goes from the closing to the post closing. So that's kind of the life of the transaction, life of the buyer. So, any questions around that? Courtney, Lucy, Ashley, Amanda, Nora? All right. I love that you guys are all experts, and I'm essentially just retreading stuff for you. Let's see. Set time expectations. That's kind of another one right now that, you know, with the way things are going, 6-7 months ago, you couldn't ask for repairs. If you ask for repairs, basically the seller would probably terminate on you, or you're writing an offer that was as is. Now we're heading into more of a normalized market. Inventory is going up. There's more options. While it's a weird market where it's kind of a seller's buyer's market still because of a lack of inventory, but buyers are getting a lot more stuff done again. Buyers are getting repairs. They're getting credits towards closing costs and stuff like that. So, and if something does big come up on the inspection, you might have to set that expectation that, you know, a repair may have to force this to be extended. We, you know, it might be better off taking a credit for it. That way we don't have to worry about your rate lock, or, hey, this is a pretty important thing, and I think the seller needs to get this done before closing. And to get that done, we might need to extend closing a little bit. So talk to your lender about if this might affect your rate lock. Again, it's you being that fiduciary, knowing every aspect of what's going on with the transaction and having a relationship with that lender and knowing what's going on. So for me, setting time expectations, it's just about that, just kind of knowing what's going to happen in the transaction, where we're going in a softening, shifting market. You know, are the timelines going to expand a little bit? Could they expand? We think that they are. So kind of pay attention to that, you know, try to give yourself some time and some grace for that, have contractors available to give you quotes and stuff like that. So again, about building relationships. So set document expectations. Like I said, I don't know how many times people just sign something in 30 seconds. It amazes me. So if you have the conversations up front, if, you know, sometimes I even send my buyers, the contract, you know, in the buyer console, just say, hey, I'm going to send you a copy of this, read through it. If you have questions, let me know. But this is 11 pages of legal documents. So it's probably important to read through it on your own and ask important questions to you. I'll cover everything, but what's important to me may not be important to you. So let's make sure that we're all on the same page and we have an understanding of what's going on. So that's another good way to set expectations with the document. So any questions around that? Any ahas, any worries? You guys are the best class ever. I love it. This is me talking. Communication expectations. Again,
I have a question.
Yeah. Yes.
So to
No.
understand what each, like questions that may pop up during the, you know, with regard to the documents, is there a cheat sheet or a class that, or a video that we can watch that kind of covers some common questions?
Again, it depends on the personality and the person you're sitting across from. I mean, someone might be worried about the timelines for the inspection contingency period or getting their earnest money in. There's so many different things that potentially could come up. As again, the fiduciary, if you haven't read through the contract, if you do not know that 11 pages front and back, again, you will cliff note version it to people. And this is the part that talks about dispute resolution. That could be a big one. What happens if we end up going to court? You know, dispute resolution to me would be the big ones, the timelines, the inspection contingency period, the financing contingency, and the appraisal contingency are the big ones. You know, to me, the sales agreement protects the buyer way more than it does the seller, and the earnest money. I mean, I think earnest money is the biggest joke in the industry right now. And sellers are like, oh my God, I'm going to get this earnest money. I've been doing this a long time and only seen earnest money lost one time, and it wasn't from my client, but
Okay.
we earnest money once. So those are the biggest things, but just, you know, if you do have questions and if you don't know the answer to it, just say, hey, that's a great question. I'm going to look into a couple different options and I'll get right back to you.
Good. All right, thanks.
And then call somebody, reach out. Jordan can even put my number in the chat. I mean, if anyone has any questions, I'm always happy to talk to people. So Amanda just turned her camera on, so I know she's got an amazing question. No? You good? No. Yeah, that's fine. So good. No other questions? All right. There's your chance. Set contingencies. Again, it's having the conversations around all the contingencies. I just kind of touched on real briefly, but you know, inspection, appraisal, financing, stuff like that. So earnest money contingencies, there's a bunch of different ways that can be handled. So, but again, it's about being that fiduciary, having that buyer presentation, having that buyer consult down, making sure you're walking people through this process. Inevitably, this will be secondhand to you guys. It'll be, again, as a team, we've done this over 750 times. We do this all the time compared to our clients who do this once every 7 to 10 years. You know, so we were having a mastermind around this today, and me and a couple other agents, you know, been in the industry a while. I was like, we forget that we need to show up with our A game every day so we can literally explain this and walk these people through this and hold their hands through this process. Because this is, for many of them, the biggest purchase that they ever do in their life. And they may only do it 2 or 3 times. You know, where we as professionals know exactly what we're doing. And sometimes we throw out cute little acronyms, or we shortcut things, or we cliff note version stuff, when that can't be the case. You know, wake up in the morning and say, who needs my A game today? You know, I'm meeting with Gary this afternoon. Am I going to go over everything, or am I going to shortcut it? Because, you know, we've met, you know, we're friends. You know, he was a referral from a friend, so I don't have to give him my A game today. At the end of the day, it's going to be a reflection on you and your relationship moving forward. You know, so show up every day like it's the first time for everyone. For the most part, it is. So, like I said, going through those contingencies is just part of the fiduciary. So, set up to date market expectations, the TMO report. Honestly, if you guys don't have those, if you aren't getting those emails, if you aren't looking at those emails, they go out once a week from your office. Get them. You don't have to study them every day. But if Amanda calls me and is looking at homes in the Hillsborough area, the 450 to 500 range, I'm going to be able to pull it out and say, hey, just want to let you know this week there's actually 25 homes listed in that price point. 12 of them are pending. So half of them that you drive by and see will be under contract. But the cool thing is there's 13 more of them available. And right now, average days on the market is 37. So have those stats available. And the TMO report is amazing for that. And it pulls up in the different price points and price ranges that your clients are looking at. And you can even use that TMO report for your sellers. Hey, we've been on the market for 3 weeks. We haven't had any offers. What's going on in the area? There's been 4 other houses that listed the market. The average days on the market is 58 right now. We're at 65 days on the market. We might need to think about a price adjustment. So the TMO reports, honestly, if you're not using them, you're doing yourself and your clients a disservice. They're great information. It's free. It comes out every Monday or Tuesday in your office. If you're not getting them, reach out to, you know, someone in your office and say, I'd love to make sure I'm on the TMO report. MCA. Reach out to the MCA. Thank you. MCA. Me and Jordan have a little side conversation over. Sorry about that. So again, setting market expectations, have those conversations. At the end of the day, a lot of people get most of their market reports from the news, which if you're letting them do that, they're going to hear nothing but the negative about it. I mean, is the market shifting? Have things changed? Yeah, but there's some positives out there. So, and it's up to us to make sure that they understand the good and the bad of all of it. So, I mean, it may not be a good time to buy. Maybe you need to let them know that. Maybe they'll thank you for that. And they may not be able to buy, but you know, hey, Sandy, I'm sorry, now may not be the right time to buy. She may be grateful to that. I understand that she's not in the position to do it yet. but she may have a friend in Gary who's looking to buy or sell in the next 6 months that she refers me to. Says, hey, Noah was really looking out for me. He helped me out. He told me it wasn't a good time to sell or buy at this time. And I really appreciated that. So again, it's about establishing that connection and that relationship. And what better way to do that than help somebody out with this? You know, if it's not a good time, let them know. If it is, do what you can to help them. So again, your Keller Williams app through Command, download it, send it to people. Another post you can make, hey, we got really cool technology, check us out. Suck it, Redfin, our app is better, however you want to put it. But you know, you guys have amazing technology. Keller Williams has amazing stuff. So send it out. Command is great. It's basically free to you guys. Use it, get people on, you know, listing alerts. If you have sellers, if you have someone's address in your database, you should have them on a market report for their home to show them what's going on in and around their neighborhood. That's another easy way. You know, like, hey, Sandy, just want to reach out, make sure you've been getting those market reports I've been sending you on your neighborhood. Did you see that 4 houses sold in your area in the last 4 months and they all sold for 101% of sales price? How cool is that? You know, while some of the market is down right now, your neighborhood's hot and people want to live there. So I know you and your husband have talked about moving. Now could be a really great time. It's just a reason to reach out to people and talk to them. So, but make sure that you're sending them something, because if you're not, somebody else is, or they're getting their information from, God forbid, Zillow, where they're checking their estimate and it says their house was worth 800,000. I just did one last night. The guy was like, oh my God, this estimate says my house was worth 450. I did a CMA for it. I came up with 225. So again, establish that connection. I showed her the numbers. She was a little bit deflated, but I would have done her a disservice to put a house on the market at 450 and not do anything and sell it. And so get her hopes up for no reason. So again, you guys have the technology at your hand to set market reports, listing alerts. At the bare minimum, if you're not reaching out to people once a month, you should be sending them an email with a market report for their home or listing alerts for houses that they're looking for, just to let them know what's going on in the market. So, 3 steps to gaining referrals. Again, providing value, ask for the help. The Mike Hicks script, go read it. Go read it, go watch it. It's on YouTube. It's a fantastic script. We try to utilize it all the time. You know, we have a big emphasis and push in our team to ask for the referrals. You know, when's a great time to ask for a referral? Anytime. But a really great time to ask for a referral is if I just got Amanda under contract on a home. Hey, congratulations, that's awesome. Hey, while you're thinking about it, do you know anyone else that I can help out right now get under contract on a home? I'd love to see that same excitement and joy in your friend. You know, what a great time. They're coming off a huge high. They just got their offer accepted. They're moving forward. You get the closing table. Hey, oh my God, thank you so much. It was amazing working with you. Amanda, you're so fun. Your cat is crazy. Don't mind the scratches on the side of my face. I love cats. But do you know what else that I could help? So it's just, there's always a good time to ask for it. There's always an opening. You know, we try to ask for referrals all the time. So if not now, if not you, do you know somebody else? If you're not asking for the business, you guys are just leaving a piece of, you know, an opportunity unchecked. So just make sure you get in front of people. So again, check the Mike Hicks script out. I think you guys will, it's a great one. I probably can't do it word for word, but I could probably recite a little bit of it. So look into it. Reviews, we're big on reviews. We try to always get 5-star reviews. Obviously, we do all of our reviews on Google and on Zillow. Occasionally we do Yelp. I haven't found that Yelp has helped so much, but you know, Google, Zillow, and even realtor.com, those would be the 3 places I'd focus on. If you can get people, if you have a business page, if you can get somebody to review you on there, great. But the world's not going to your business page to look for real estate agents. So if you can get them on those 3 websites, those are good spots to do it at as well. So we made a big focus on it. If you have some clients in the past that you worked with that closed, you know, reach out to them and say, hey, you know, you can send them an email. Hey, coffee on me. I'd love to, you know, buy you a coffee. Would you be willing to take 5 minutes out of your day and write me a 5-star review on Zillow? You know, and if you go above and beyond, if you're willing to do it on Google, on realtor.com as well, you can just copy and paste that same referral and drop it into both of them, both the other ones. I'd love to send you a Starbucks gift card or Dutch Brothers, because I know Amanda likes Dutch Brothers instead of Starbucks. So whatever it is, but again, know your clients. So did you have a question, Amanda, or are you just tired of me picking
I
on you?
was going to ask to clarify, so it's not inappropriate to essentially bribe people for reviews?
Why?
I guess I just wanted to I don't know. I
Yeah,
wasn't
and-
sure if that would be an inappropriate practice or not. There's a lot of things that you can't do.
So here's the thing. Are you going to offer a $5 gift card? So let's just say we work together, right? And I complained and it was awful. We got to the closing table. I probably paid $30,000 over asking and I didn't get anything done and I complained a little bit about your cat scratching me that one time. Are you going to reach out to me and ask for me for a 5-star review?
Probably not.
Okay, so that's up to you to decide whether you're going to do that. But to me, if I'm reaching out to my clients, it doesn't hurt to have that conversation. Hey, I appreciate your time, and your time in this relationship means the world to me. And just for taking that out, let me send you a $5 gift card. You don't have to post it out in the world. I may have done that before. Go on Instagram, go on Facebook Messenger, send messages to people, talk to them, ask them to do it. You know, I made a big push originally when we started getting our reviews on Zillow and stuff like that. We sent out emails to people like our past clients, and it just in the subject line, it just said coffee on me. Say, hey, if you would be willing to take the time, write us a 5-star review, I'd love to send you a gift card. So
I like the way you put it though, so it doesn't sound gripey.
yeah. My God, that's like the best thing ever. That's Kristen Rayner interrupting the class, came and did the limbo in front of me. That was amazing. She's actually who I stole all my ideas from in the beginning. So again, walking around, talking to people, talking to top agents in your office, getting ideas, making friends. She has all of them. Like I stole everything from her. So I did. I stole it. Stole R&D. She used to be a teacher, so she's grammar shaming me right now.
More like plagiarized. Because
No.
you're, well, not even plagiarized. You're giving her credit. You're more copying.
Yeah, R&D. Rip off and duplicate. Yeah, that's what I do. What? Now they're I think they're talking about me. It's weird. Okay, so, all right. Where we're at now. So reviews. Again, talks about the review here, the process. I mean, I kind of think we touched on that. Seller reviews. Obviously, it's going to help you guys with, your online presence. People do research you. Like I said, use Command. Command can be your website. Initially, I didn't have a website for the longest time, and I was probably losing business because of that. You're not going to gain business from it, but you might lose business if, Amanda's like, oh my God, I heard about Noah. He's awesome. Where's his website? Are you a real estate agent if you don't have a website? Oh, he has a Facebook page and he talks about tacos all the time. He's weird. So I have actually found that a lot of people have researched me in the past. And it's one of the questions, oh, hey, great. How did you come across me? Oh, we found your website. Awesome. Cool. Command has an amazing website. There's opportunities out there. You don't have to have one. You don't need one. But at the end of the day, reviews will help and it will lead to more business. So if you can get them, great. Bribe people. Bribe people. You do it. You say, I'll give you a $5 gift card and you can come to my Santa Claus event and bring your cat. So whatever it will be. At the end of the day, we do client events all the time. Am I bribing people? No, but I'm providing a service and additional value in my value proposition, giving away pumpkins, having a pie giveaway, doing a Santa Claus event. We do a lot of things for our past clients just to stay in front of them and show them our gratitude for working with us and choosing with us. So at the end of the day, that to me, that again, it's about client relationships, and that's what we do. So seller review, buyer reviews, they look happy, probably didn't use me. So there's that. Are we already at ahas? No way. Oh my God, we're not there yet. All right, we might have to skip that a few, but so at this point in time, I know I've talked a lot. I'm sad that you're all on camera, but does anyone have any ahas? at this time. Or poor reviews, so they never bring me back. That would be great. I've only had to do this 4 times, so.
You can bribe people and it's appropriate. That was an aha.
Yeah, that, you know,
But
again,
you know, asking somebody for a review is one thing. If you did a fantastic job, obviously they might just want to because they liked you so much. But
Sure.
the incentive is a big thing that if people want to get stuff out of it. If a lot of people operate on the concept that nothing's free in their mind. So
you know how much
concept-
you know how much it costs the office to have me on today? Like, this wasn't like, you're gonna pay for this, Jordan. You're 100% right. I mean, at the end of it, but if you're offering it, it's not, and again, we don't look at it as a bribe. We look at it as, hey, a thank you for your time and spreading the good word about us. So yeah, while I may choose my words a little bit differently, but yeah, it's not a bribe. It can be construed as that, but honestly, it's our way of just giving back.
Right. It's a nice way of throwing a bone for throwing a bone. No, I get it. It's also in a different light, a bribe.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it very well could be. I mean, I say potato vodka. I mean, whatever. So it's just one of those things. So, hey, Gary's back. I love it. He knows.
Amanda, are you talking about bribing people that you haven't worked with, or people who you haven't done business with, or?
Oh, no. Like just having somebody want to write a review. It would be somebody that you worked with that had an opinion of you. Just hit the way he had phrased it of, if you write a review, I'll give you a $5 card.
Because in that case, I'm gonna hit up my whole friends list.
Incentivizing.
You know, I'll hit
Yeah.
up everybody.
So again, this is all with past clients that I've worked with. Now, I mean, and again, however you want to view it, but I mean, it's, to me, I'm going to incentivize anyone I can to try to work with me, because if I can provide a better customer service, a better experience for someone, I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of what this is about as well, too. You know, because again, there's a realtor around every corner. There's 1.6 million realtors in the United States. We're everywhere. We're a giant cult. We don't go away. We just drink more Kool-Aid. So if I can provide better customer service, better value, if I can incentivize people to show up for Santa, for people with kids, you know, and some people would look at our Santa event as bribes, but it's not. It's Santa. We're giving back to our clients. So it's just find different ways, find creative ways, find solutions, do what you do best, get in front of people, earn their trust, earn their business, and just be there for them. If it costs $5 to Starbucks, I'll do it. Going on. So today's agenda. We're only on success with buyers. Man, I'm way behind. So I blame Amanda for that. She totally derailed me. What buyers want most in their agent. So help finding a home and purchasing it. You know, obviously that's our job. Help buyers negotiate terms of the sale, help the price with negotiations, and other. The other, to me, is such a broad category. I mean, there could be so many things in there. I guess I would love to hear some of your guys' opinions on this. What do you think might fall under the other category, other than bribes, Amanda? Don't go there. Gary, what do you got, man?
As far as getting people to write you reviews?
No, we're way past that. You like, hold on, let me go back 5 pages. Okay, we're back here. I'm gonna move forward in time. Now we're here.
Okay.
We're talking about buyers, you know, what buyers want from their agents.
Man, they want somebody to listen to them.
Yeah.
You
Listen
know?
to them, communicate the way they want to communicate.
Yep.
Not everyone wants to pick up the phone and call. I basically went through and I mean, we're inviting people to our Santa event. I know not everyone's going to pick up the phone. I know about 125 of my people that just want text messages. So I send text messages instead. A contact can be a text message if it's an actual conversation. Yes, you want it to be a call, you want it to be a purposeful, but you know, some people want to email. We have clients that only want to email. Find out the communication styles. That might be another. You know, someone that communicates with them, someone that is like them, someone's like-minded, someone's from their church, who knows? There's so many different things that it can be. At the end of the day, they want somebody to find them a home for the right price and someone that can negotiate well for them. So that's got to be your guys' focus. And again, it boils down to being the fiduciary, you know, walking them through the process, making sure they understand everything. And just being that expert on the market in the neighborhood. Use that TMO report. So buyer needs analysis. So again, this realistically should kind of go back to your buyer presentation. Does everybody have a buyer presentation? If you don't, find one in the Keller Williams toolkit, copy it, put your name on it. That's all you have to do. R&D it, make it your own. The wheel has already been invented in real estate. There's nothing new coming down the pipeline ever. Someone's done it, someone's doing it, and someone's doing it better than you. Borrow it, steal it, make it your own. If you haven't do it, do it. So, I don't know. We got some ghosts in here though. So, Gary, why don't you do me a favor and read through the buyer needs analysis?
Who will be living in this home? List adults, children, and pets inhabiting the space. What are the non-negotiables for your home? If you had to name your top 5 non-negotiables, what would they be? Beyond your top 5 needs, what is something you really want? Do you have a preference for the year the house was built? Do you want a house in move-in condition, or are you willing to do some work on it? When people visit your home, what do you want it to say about you? Are there any specific features that you would make your next house feel like home? And will you require accessibility options?
I mean, this is literally something you guys can take a screenshot of, copy and paste, and make it your, you know, if someone comes to an open house, if someone is an online lead, if it's a referral, this could be the very first conversation you have. This could be the start to your buyer presentation, to walk them through the process. But getting to know the needs analysis first, again, it's going to establish that connection and that rapport with them. You know, you got to know what they're looking for, and they want to know that you care. So going through this is, I think, a very important stage with the buyer side of it. So
I usually started with the LP Mama script.
if you have LP Mama, that is honestly hands down the best script there is. It works for everything. And you can even manipulate that into a listing conversation as well, depending on how you have the conversation. But LP Mama, if y'all don't know what that is, again, it's an acronym for Keller Williams has their acronyms. But it's for an amazing script, just buyer needs analysis script, finding out more about them. So if you don't have it, maybe Gary can put it in a link or share it with the group, but it is, our team uses it daily. We practice it probably twice a month for a week. So we think it's that important that we use that one all the time. So LP Mama is a fantastic one. So, all right, tough conversations, fiduciaries. Again, you want to try to have the tough conversations in your buyer presentation. So get that stuff out of the way. Talk to them about pre-approval, what it looks like to get out, to have an inspection done, walk them through, what it would look like to ask for repairs, what the seller may or may not do. I mean, to me, the tough conversations is easily handled by staying in front of people. Again, those offensive conversations, consistently staying in front of people, don't let something fester. If you're worried about something, if something comes up, let me know, reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me a text, because if you think about it and still on it, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. So open communication, to me, that's part of the tough communication, is a lot of people just kind of found them a house. Great. Awesome. Let's write an offer. And you just some agents will kind of disappear. So you got to be there for them at the end of the day. So show homes based on needs analysis. Again, that seems pretty self-explanatory. Showing homes best practice. Amanda, I'm gonna have you read through this one. Thank you for your participation. Oh, she doesn't have it pulled up. There she is,
She was busy. She's multitasking.
as most realtors do.
Showing homes, the best practices, show only the best properties for your buyer. Have MLS listing with pricing information and key details, including disclosures. Mark properties on a map and answer location questions. Be knowledgeable about the property and neighborhoods. Include recent comparable sales to answer pricing questions and point out potential issues or concerns with each house.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, these are the ones that are gonna solidify that relationship with you. Showing only the best properties.
Shows that you
Yes.
listened.
Yeah, absolutely. Having the MLS listing, the printout, you know, most people take one. I take the agent full. I take it so I have all the detailed information on it. Some people bring a copy of the client full as well. I always like to give them something to walk around with and hold in their hand and look at. I highlight the year that it was built. I take a highlighter, do the year that it was built, bedrooms, baths, square foot, the lot size, the taxes, if there's an HOA, what it covers. I kind of highlight stuff like that and hand them that and let them walk around with it. The year built, mark the property on the map. I don't necessarily do that. Actually, what I do is I talk to people about it in the buyer presentation. I just say, hey, look this house up on Google Maps. Check out the aerial view, go to the aerial map, look at it in real time. And then I also talk about the street view. If you guys don't know what the street view is, on the bottom right-hand corner, you can pick up the little yellow guy and drop them where the blue lines show up on the map. And it'll show you what that street looks like during the day, up and down the street. And the other cool thing is you can click on the date and it'll take you back in time. Sometimes it'll take you all the way back to 2004 and all the way up to 2018, 19. So there's kind of a cool timeline period. So, and I let people know, say, hey, look at it. And I show it to them, but you can actually go back in time and look. And that car that's on blocks right now across the street, it was there back in 2004. This may not be the best neighborhood for you. It's another way to have conversations around them to only show them the best houses, what they're looking for. Or, hey, because the picture showed this house is amazing, it also didn't show that there's a cemetery right behind it. Good way to check that out on Google Maps so you're not wasting your time getting out there showing it. Be knowledgeable about the property and the neighborhood. Again, the TMO report will help you with that. You know, pull up comps before you go out there. If there's anything else out there actually pending right now, it's a good idea to know what the pending ones are. Because if they drive by a house and go, ooh, what's that one? And you go, oh, that one's pending. It's been on the market for 30 days. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $550. It's a little bit out of your price range. But know that so it shows that you have some information and that you know what's going on in the neighborhood as well. So again, that kind of goes to the comparable list, you know, answer pricing questions, point out potential issues and concerns. My favorite line to tell people is like, look, at the end of the day, you're going to love the house and it's not my job to talk you into buying it. It's actually my job to talk you out of buying it if I see any major concerns or issues. The cool thing about working with me is I have a construction background. I used to frame houses. So I know I have a great deal of, you know, understanding of what goes into a house. I actually know when we walked up, that's a 3-tab roof. It's actually shot. It's going to need to be replaced. It's going to cost you about $20,000. I'm going to walk them through the process of what a house looks like while you're looking at the floors, the kitchen, the bathroom, you know, and the pretty paint colors. I'm looking at the foundation, the single pane windows, the crack in the foundation and stuff like that. I talk to them about stuff like that because at the end of the day, it's my job to point all that information out to make the best decision for themselves. Because if they do get into a house where they might have to replace a roof once they're into it, that's going to be a bad purchase for them. So Amanda, do you have anything to say about that?
I was basically going to piggyback. The two things that I point out are features and faults. Oh yeah, this one's got a really nice covered deck. It also has this and this wrong with it. Oh, this one has a nice walk-in closet, but there's also a giant crack in the ceiling. Or yeah, a bad, yeah. Features and faults. Those are my two.
I'm careful with the features thing because I think a lot of things are neat that people are like, I was like, phew. So I learned honestly a long time ago, if they'll talk about it, I'll give my feedback on it, but I don't ever really kind of point stuff out anymore. I learned a long time ago, I pointed something out one time and the guy, I think it was about a wood stove. I'm like, God, I love wood stoves. They basically hit the house great. He goes, oh, but it smells in your hands and then I was like, oh, okay. And that was just an example, but I try to stay away from that. If they're talking about something, I'll give my opinion on something like that. Again, that's just my personal preference on what to do, but the features and faults, I love that. It's a great little tagline to kind of roll with. So yeah, I do it. But mine is always, hey, it's not my job to talk you into buying the house. It's to talk you out of buying it. And if I can't talk you out of buying it, then what we're going to do is talk to you about all the good things about the house and what we can do to get you into this house for the right price and for the right terms. So that's kind of the pitch I go with there. So showing homes means agent interaction. Again, if you're going to show a house, call the listing agent, talk to them, find out some information. I love talking to agents about, you know, their clients, what they're doing, call and ask how long has it been on the market? Do you have any offers? You are back on the market. Find out some information about the house, but establish that relationship with the agent. At the end of the day, I sometimes pick and choose who I work with based on who they are and the relationship I have with them. So don't do that though. That's bad because this is recorded. Tour of the home toolkit. That's a whole lot of stuff. So everyone has their own things. These are suggestions that the real estate industry has given to us. I don't bring half the stuff. If you all want to, it's good to have a first aid kit in your car, flashlight. If we are going into a shifting market and we are going to go back and have some short sales, some foreclosure homes, it'd be a good idea to bring a flashlight again. I've gone into some pretty dark homes before where I just use my cell phone flashlight, and that's kind of weird to show a house. Level tape measure. I mean, all good stuff to have if you're a contractor and you're going to do some repair work, or if you have a business of flipping houses. Again, these are just kind of suggestions, so take it with a grain of salt. So safety first when showing homes. You know, we use the orange file. If you're going somewhere, you're worried about it, you know, make sure you're being safe. Let somebody know you're going somewhere. We always have that conversation with the agents. Hey, if you're going out to rural property and you maybe have some concerns, call me, let me know where you're going. So, and then once, you know, they go out there, I'll call and check on them just to see how the showing went. So find a buddy. Yeah.
Can you put it back on that another slide, next one back? There we go. I just want to screenshot it. There. Yeah, let's see here. Nope, damn it, missed it. There it is. Hold on, I got to screenshot it there. Got it.
Sorry about that. You got it?
Yeah, thanks.
All right, well, I'm going to kind of go through these a little bit faster. Apparently I'm on a clock here, 15 minutes, and I want to respect you guys' times as well. So, you know, reasons buyers hesitate, they're afraid to commit. Obviously right now, that's probably a lot of the conversation around interest rates, what's going on, what they've heard in the news. Again, that's where your fiduciary have the lenders available to talk to them about buy downs, interest rates, locks, whatever. Have those relationships, your vendors to work with. They don't like some minor details of the home. Again, you're never going to talk someone into buying a house, but if you can maybe walk them through the process of, I get that it's pink. Gary, I know your daughter loves pink, but we can paint this. It'll be easy. So if they haven't seen enough homes, I always tell people, hey, don't be afraid to write an offer on the first home. You'd be surprised. Sometimes that first home may be the first home. I'm happy to show you as many as it takes, but sometimes that first home is the right home for you. And that's why we sit and meet and ask 100 questions about what you're looking for, so I can find you the perfect home. I have found the perfect home 7 times in my career, so don't be surprised if we find it again. It's a fun little thing to do, but you know, we'll get out and see as many as you want, but finding the right home isn't that hard. So, I mean, the first home could be the home. So don't be afraid to make an offer on it. So if you need to sleep on it, sometimes if they need to sleep on it, it just means that you didn't answer all their questions, or there's some questions left unanswered. They didn't ask the right questions. Make sure you're continually ask questions. Hey, I get that you need to sleep on it, but Amanda, this checks off every box that you had. It's got the cat door, it's got the AC, it's got the white picket fence, it backs up to a cemetery just like you asked for. What do you need to sleep on? You know, figure it out, dive deep. You know, sometimes people sleeping on it just means that you didn't ask all the right questions. So guidelines, facilitating decision-making. Always go back to the motivation. Again, that's, you know, asking the right questions, going back to the needs and wants analysis. A big one, again, a lot of this stuff should be handled before you even get out to the house. If they're wavering, if they have questions, if they have issues around their rate lock, make sure you have their lender available to talk to them, go over their cost analysis and stuff like that. So, solve their challenges. Again, pink rooms can be painted. You know, can't do anything about Amanda Cemetery. So, you know, you stuck with that, but that's your choice. So calculate the cost of waiting too. That's another big thing, you know, what would it look like for them to wait longer? You know, it's kind of finding that pain versus pleasure, the scripts around all that stuff. So, ahas around any of that? No, good. All right. Man, I fell way behind, didn't I? I am sorry. All right. Seller needs. Huh? Great conversation. Oh, I like that. Thanks. And to be perfectly honest, y'all can call me anytime. I love talking. So, seller needs right now, pricing the home, expectations, and their motivation. I mean, with a seller right now, if you send them a CMA for $550,000, but their neighbor's house sold at $600,000, they won't take a dime less than that. But you know their neighbor's house sold 6 months ago and the market was crazy. You got to find the people who are willing and ready to go. I've turned down several listings recently because they weren't motivated, in my opinion. They wanted to price a home based on pricing from 6 months ago. So it's always a conversation around, you know, what's going on in today's market. Again, those TMO reports will help do a market analysis on the neighborhood. But, you know, I'm turning down listings right now when in a market when listings kind of are hard to come by. But if they're going to sit on the market, and I track the homes that I turn down and see where they list for and watch them sit. But I'm happy to be your second agent next time around. So I specialize in selling homes the second time around when they didn't sell the first time. So the scripts around all that stuff, pricing, time frame, again, it's just you got to dig deep with these people in this market right now. Finding and working with an unmotivated person is just going to be a major time suck, and you have to find them motivated right now. Stay in front of those people, have conversations with them, but find the people that want to get out in your car, want to write offers, or want to listen to you when it comes to listing a house because you are the expert and you know what prices are and what things are selling for. So, sellers' lives change or sellers' world changes. So obviously things come up all the time. You know, I just had a client who they were in their forever home and they've been there for 1.5 years. The wife came down with something that she needed to be in a different climate. So they moved to Southern Colorado. But, you know, because we stayed in front of them and sent them the monthly market report on their house and reached out to them for random reasons to say hi and check in, ask for referrals. You know, we were there for them when something came up and they needed to sell their house. We helped them sell and they moved on. So things happen all the time. Things change, jobs change, the market changes, people have kids. Whatever it is, something's going to happen, but you have to be available in front of the people. So, sellers control prices and condition. I like to actually think I control the price for the most part. If I'm working with someone, I'm going to lead you to something. The price that they're going to end up with is probably going to be a suggestion from me. So honestly, condition wise, we will go through the house just like kind of with a buyer. Going back, going too far. You know, we do talk about condition with sellers. I walk through them with the house and I talk to them about it. Say, hey, what I'm going to do now is walk through and look at your house through the eyes of a buyer's agent and a buyer. If there's something here major that I think we may need to address before we list on the market, let's talk about that. We also have an amazing staging team that can come through and help you rearrange your furniture to maximize the space and make it look best online when we take photos. Or, hey, we have a team of declutter, a team that does decluttering that can come help you come through and kind of clean up your house a little bit to make it look more attractive to buyers online. I have 7 to 8 pictures to grab somebody's attention when they see it online. So condition in this market currently and pricing is everything. So the conversations we have with people. So, sensitive seller conversations and where to begin. It's pricing and their home's amazing. So, you know, people love their homes. And so, and you got it. It's a very kind of fine line we're walking when we're walking to people's houses and giving them our opinion on it. Because if you are talking to Gary about the pink room that he has that he absolutely loves, and that's his gaming room, and you need him to paint it in a more neutral color, he might get mad and not choose to work with you because Amanda said you can paint the whole house pink and I'll sell it for you. So you got to know your seller. And again, it kind of just goes back to establishing that relationship and getting to know them, spending a little bit of time. I like to walk people through the house with them room to room, get to know them a little bit, because you can kind of find out what they have most pride in their house and stuff like that, and pride in ownership. So I like having that. Some agents like doing it on their own because I can walk through a house in 5 minutes without them, or can walk through it with 20 minutes with them, but I can also establish that relationship and connection. So there's a lot of sensitive conversations that happen. So great agent, client communication, provides strong foundation for sustaining relationship. Again, at the end of the day, if you have that and establish that relationship with them, they'll trust you when it comes down to the time to say, hey, we haven't had any showings in 2 weeks and the market's changed. It might be time for a price adjustment. But if you're not having those constant communications and have a good relationship with them, it's going to be a hard question. And a lot of agents going to the market we're in have never done a price adjustment. So it's kind of hard for people to have those conversations. So again, imagining expectations kind of falls right along there. Create peace of mind with your clients. Again, being that expert, staying in front of them, communicating the way they want to communicate with, and being in constant communication with them. Like I said, with sellers, we reach out once a week with an email, just where we're at. We send them market reports on views to their house, RMLS counts, Zillow counts, how many people view their house, how many people saved it. So we're in constant communication when it comes to stuff like that. So if the client's house violates fair housing laws, I mean, you're gonna have issues there. So we're gonna skip right through that one. Go back to this one. Go back and read this one on your own, but I never violate any laws. No commission is worth your reputation. The Y4 CTUTs that we go over this every week. So, again, win-win or no deal, integrity, do the right thing. I think that's just instilled in most of us and all of us. I think we all want to do the right thing anyways. If we end up doing this stuff, customers always come first, commitment in all things, communication, seek first to understand, creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more, trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunity for all, success results through people. If you do all this stuff, and if you show up, and if this is something you truly believe in, business will continue to come back around to you just for sticking to these. So it is important. Steps to making a plan for listing: capitalize on your listing by marketing your brand. At the same time, bring more listings and buyers. Listings, leads, and leverage. If you've been at Keller Williams for more than a day, you better know this triangle. This is basically the lifeblood of Keller Williams. Listings, are the leverage of this business. They bring in the leads, they bring in the buyers. At the end of the day, the marketing that you're doing, realistically, if you're doing it right and at a high level, should bring in 2 more listings and hopefully 1 or 2 more buyers. So make sure you're again giving it your A game every day. So showing up, using command, door knocking, doing high level open houses, providing excellent customer service. So people want to work with people they like. So I'm not going to read that. Shift. The MLS listing reflects your brand, so get it right. I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen poor photos, houses marketed wrong, different things. Double and triple check things. Ask your MCA, ask someone to double check something. Make sure everything's right. Make sure you have the right square footage, the right lot size, the right bedrooms. Just know your stuff. Get it right. I mean, you're a paid professional. We're paid a nice chunk of change to get stuff right and get people's homes sold. Do your homework, do your due diligence, be their fiduciary. So didn't go anywhere. Again, command, utilize all the command, everything at your fingertips. It's here. get in Command, post the stuff out, use social media. Command is a great resource for all you guys. If you're not using it, please get on, use it, go to the classes. They just did a Command Con. Was that recorded? Command Con? Go back, ask for the recordings of Command Con, learn it, love it, live it, know it. Command's amazing. It's there for you to help grow your business. So proper signage, again, you should have signs. Directionals, called certain neighborhoods or certain areas up in this area, Forest Grove, that I can't put directionals out at because the city of Forest Grove will literally pick them up and throw them in the trash every time you do. So make sure you know your communities, what you can and can't do. If there's an HOA, call and ask them if there's a specific style sign. Just know that stuff. Again, kind of being the professional. So there's one neighborhood in Lake Oswego that literally you have to do a rectangular sign with the neighborhood information on it before you can list a house in the neighborhood. So just, we have signage that we can provide you, but there are certain areas that you have to do it a little bit differently. So again, be the professional, do your research, know what you can do. So ahas from that. Anything we went super quick? You're at 3 o'clock. Oh my God, I'm at 3 o'clock. So I don't even know what page I'm on. 62. I made 62 out of 80. That's like passing for me. So I'm like a C student, so that works for me. So do you guys have any questions, any ahas from today, any concerns, any like how the hell do you have a real estate license and how have you sold so many houses? Because I want to do
No,
that too.
honestly, I appreciate the way you taught the class. Honestly, out of all the classes, I think the way you taught it was like probably my favorite. So thanks for that.
Cool, man.
Oh, no, I remembered specifically because I thought you were brilliant and no filters, crass and direct.
Cool. And honestly,
wonderful.
I mean, and if you've seen me before, that's how I show up. And it is honestly how I am with my clients. I am authentic. I am who I am. I don't wear a suit and tie. I'm wearing jeans and
Honesty is kind of like the biggest thing about this, I think. So when you're transparent and honest and like no bullshit, direct,
yeah.
people I have found are very receptive of that. Well, thank you for not sugarcoating that. Like,
yeah. And it gains trust. So at the end of the day, that's how I built my career. That's how I built my business. I went from a solo agent selling 25 homes.
a lot of fans.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of weird taco posts. If you haven't seen them, check me out. I got every Tuesday. Again, it's a marketing ploy. So again, it's about getting in front of people, establishing that connection with people. I have so much taco stuff. It's ridiculous. Agents, past clients, family members send me stuff in the mail. I have blankets, shirts, hats, a big metal taco in my office. So, but I have fun with it. I get out, and again, I am authentic, and I love what I do. And honestly, Gary Keller always says it's for the love of real estate. I kind of think it's for the love of people and the love of the agents. I love doing this stuff. I don't do it often, and probably for good reason. I am kind of a little bit unhinged sometimes, but I love getting out in front of people, and I love having honest conversations, and especially with agents who are maybe new to Keller Williams or even new to the industry. I love being a resource for people. If you need me, lean on me, reach out. I don't know if Jordan put my number in the chat box, but give me a call if you want. If you want a shot straight to you, I'm happy to give it to you. If you have questions, if you heard it one way from another person, there's no one way to do real estate. You can show up in a suit and tie. You can show up in a bikini for all I care. If you're good at sales, you're good at sales. You're good with people. At the end of the day.
Please don't show up in a bikini.
Again. I was told there'd be a slip and slide. So anyways, I just love this job, and I love helping people out. If you were in our office, I'd grab you and I'd ask you questions about your business and what you're doing, and point you to my office and say, hey, if you need help, come find me. But you got my number. If you have any questions, shoot me a text, find me on social media. Hit me up and let me know what I can do to help, guys. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you guys.
Bye. Yes, sir. Later.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you guys.